I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it.
Hi friends, welcome back to Daydreamersbarn. I'm Jess.
I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Some laws that we're learning since being here in the UK. And we'll share the US and share what we found out about the UK. And then we'll also share where we got our 15-year anniversary, and the link will be in the description below. So, without further ado, if we want to let Axel get comfortable. All right, are you done? Are we done? Are you ready? Are you going to be a part of this? Okay, he's decided he wants to be a part of the video. Okay, so do you want to... So we have a list so I can kind of stay on task. So I guess what we'll jump straight into, do we want to talk about the chickens?
Sure.
So with Chris and I wanting to have a homestead, we're really wanting to, start learning as much as we can about chickens. And so looked into potentially having chickens here or even living vicariously through the landlord's son because he has chickens and that's who we get our fresh eggs from. So we were in the United States. Your parents have owned chickens and his sister has owned chickens, and so they would always put
your sister owns chickens
too?
Yeah,
my sister owns chickens, so they put their table scraps in a little bucket. Instead of throwing it out, they just keep it on the side and then they give it to the chickens. And here in the UK, we were looking up and we're like, oh, this would be great, see if we have our own chickens, if we could do that, or if, the neighbors the landlord's son wants them. And I guess looking into the law, you cannot do that legally here in the UK. Because of hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yep.
In
2001.
Yeah, when it was ramped up pretty high, that was something that the UK put into law that, chickens do not get table scraps. So I thought that was pretty...
Yeah, from what I understand is the concern was transmitting diseases from humans to animals back and forth, and that's why they didn't want to do it. And it's ironic when we were kind of looking into it, that's part of... what the big push was in the homesteading days was to give your scraps to the chickens because
less waste.
Right, less waste for the landfills, and it's able to just give them feed when you don't have to give them other feed at that point.
Yeah, and then I guess we can go down to the eggs.
Yeah,
washed eggs.
Still on chickens.
Yeah, since we're on chickens. In the U.S., in a previous video, I mentioned about the eggs, and here in the UK, they don't.
And arguably most of the world.
Yeah, they don't wash the eggs. And in the United States, it is law. You have to wash the eggs, and they have to be refrigerated. So, you don't have that protectant coat on the egg that, keeps the bloom that keeps it from getting any kind of bacteria within the egg. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely an interesting point to where just seeing it kind of not in the refrigerated area where what we're used to seeing. Basically, we've talked about that before. It's different because they follow U.S. protocols.
And it's just so
that's
weird.
Interesting that it's a law that you are not allowed to wash it here.
Yeah.
And you must wash it in the U.S.
In the U.S., yep. And then jaywalking. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, so jaywalking.
So the next one will be jaywalking or... not crossing in the, I don't know is it called jaywalking here in the UK? Or is it just not crossing in the designated crossing area?
Yeah, from what I understand is that here there's no actual laws on where you can and can't cross the road. There's suggestions where you should, different things like that. But in the US it's very...
black and white.
Black and white, right? Yeah. If there's a crosswalk, you can. If you can't, you're jaywalking, and you're liable to get a fine depending on what city you're in and stuff like that. So, but here, not so much, not fines associated with it. So
So I think the next one is going to be citizenship in the United States and in the UK. So
this was a fun one that I was interested about because in the US. natural born citizenship. If you are born in the U.S., even if you have neither of your parents are U.S. citizens, you are a naturalized U.S. citizen at that point.
You were born a citizen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in the UK, it's different. It's I'm not sure the exact laws, but it's not a blanket statement like it is in the U.S. There's different situations that whether you have one parent that is a legal UK resident or somebody that lives here permanently, and I'm sure there's other ways to get there as well, but it's not a blanket statement like it is in the US.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I do too. That is pretty interesting. And then the next one is going to be council tax. Council tax and being paid for by the person that is living in the home, because in the United States, if you rent your home out, the homeowner is liable for the state taxes, any kind of taxes that are to be paid on the house. Yeah. It is the owner's responsibility, not the renter's responsibility. Here in the UK, council tax is something that the renter is liable for. We're exempt due to being military. We get the exemption. But if you don't know about getting that exemption and how to go about doing that, you'll have to pay the council tax. If the paperwork's not filed properly, you could be held liable.
Yep, and it's, from what we understand, it helps with keeping up the area with the trash and recycling, and it's.
But for me, I feel that the homeowner should be responsible for it, not the renter, because that's just one added thing that the renter is having to pay when it's not even their home.
Yeah, and that's why, like in the US, that's kind of wrapped up in the renting price.
Okay, this dog wants under my sweater. Can you grab our blankie, please? Poor guy just wants to snuggle. Okay.
And that leads us in.
Maybe not. Are you good? You're not good? What do you need? Okay. You good now? Okay.
So talking about homeowners and renters and stuff like that, leads us into the next point, the more land. Interesting one, the kind of complex one is the land ownership or property ownership. Yeah. In the U.S., it's pretty cut and dry. It's whoever owns the land also, well, at least for the majority of the time.
Unless you have an HOA, which is a homeowners association, to where like a contractor or a company owns the land that your house is set on.
Yeah, but for the most part, if you own the house, you're going to own the land, or vice versa. Yeah. Vice versa. If you own the land, you own the house on it. That's Correct. All part of the deed and stuff like that. But normally, the homeowner also owns the land. Correct. What we found is here, that's not necessarily the case. They have
not in all cases. Yeah,
leasehold and freehold. Freehold meaning they own the property, and then leasehold means they own the house or the flat or whatever the case is on the actual land itself. And from what we've understood, and correct us if we're wrong, if we're off base, but that happens a majority of the time. I assume more in the cities. But from what we've gathered is that it's typically over 80 years that there needs to be part of the agreement when you sell a house or anything like that, to make sure that stays there for the next person.
Yeah.
But that was just pretty interesting, and especially too when you look at UK and England and Wales specifically, all the land is owned by the Crown. Right. So that's why it's leasehold, or what was it? Freehold, yeah.
And leaseholder.
Instead of the property owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
And then like the price of homes comparative to, I know in some cities prices are astronomical, kind of like they are in London and probably Manchester and like the bigger cities. That they're just outrageously priced. But even in the rural areas that I'm seeing homes go for, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, with a little plot of land going for over 400,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's pounds. That's not dollars. And it's crazy, especially knowing what people are getting paid here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that start out wage. And yes, you don't have to pay, what is it? You don't have to pay for health insurance, but you still have to pay your council tax. You still have to pay, for your BBC TV. You still have to
all the
pay
different
for
taxes
all of these,
and all the other.
Yeah, you still have to pay for a bunch of things, and you're making, I guess £10 an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes less than that.
Yeah, minimum wage isn't as much. I guess that's definitely a subject of contention in the U.S. too, as far as minimum wage. But it seems like the median wage doesn't look at the median houses for sure. So,
no. It's like I don't how many people own their own home here in the UK versus rent in the UK.
Yeah.
It's, we've owned quite a few homes, you know what I mean? And just having that opportunity, I really wish everybody had that opportunity, because being a homeowner is something that I have absolutely loved, being able to be a homeowner. And I want other people our age and or younger being able to have that same feel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But it makes sense looking at all the different issues and things and that are out there where there's a lot of people that don't own their own homes.
I think each to their own, you know what I mean? If you don't want to have to worry about fixing a boiler that goes out, or having to fix a dishwasher or whatnot, you know what I mean? You're not held liable. So I do see, and I do.
There's definitely pros to the other side of it.
There, 100%. We have rented as well. But not having to ask about painting your wall is one of the things that drove me. Like, I'm like, okay, I want to be able to change the color if I want to, without having to get written consent.
Yeah, and it's kind of in the American culture, we see it as kind of the American dream. Yeah. To own your own home. Yeah. That's just kind of synonymous with the American dream, really.
Yeah. Also, it is something that is really, I guess it's not becoming tangible anymore. It's
been less tangible for sure,
in the United States because of how expensive
prices are going up. It's hard to know when to buy the house to where you're not going to lose out on a lot of money when the income or when the market drops or anything like that. Yeah. It's definitely a more of a risky game than it used to be.
Yeah, really is. So if y'all have any topics that y'all would like us to talk about, please leave it in the comments below. And then there's just going to be a lot more of us driving around and seeing some things coming up. So
with us driving around, part of other conversation. So we talked about before didn't we talk about the BMW?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we mentioned that
it failed BMW. The MOT. And instead of fixing it back up because it was
blowing blue smoke.
Had some blue smoke coming out the exhaust, and that's kind of, 9 chances out of 10 it's going to be the rings that are going bad on that. And we
could have limped it by.
We could have, but we didn't want to sell it to the next person and the engine go bad on them if they didn't forget to put in oil or whatever the case is. So
I couldn't have lived with selling somebody a lemon or a dud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't have lived with that. So we got my car Dobby is what we've named it. It's a panel van. It's a Fiat Doblo. Absolutely love it. It's the funkiest looking thing, and her name is Dobby, and we absolutely love her. So you will see us traveling around in Dobby here coming soon.
Yeah, we met a really nice couple that we bought it from. Really good experience on that one. And with this one, I really like it. It's a diesel. We've owned diesel trucks in the past, never a diesel car or van. So far, very pleased with the fuel economy.
Yes, it's been...
And then it's a lot more spacious than the Estate was.
Yeah.
We got room for the dogs in the back.
And more projects for me. So yeah, a lot more room, just a lot more windows.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
Lanta, does that thing have like humongous windows? Just European cars in all are really different looking
style-wise
than what I'm accustomed to in the United States. They look like, to me, they look like spaceships or like a weird bubble boxy sometimes.
Yeah,
you know
they've got different character for sure. And one of the unique thing was too, talking to our landlords is we mentioned that, back in the States you can't get Vauxhalls or Peugeots or some of these other cars and we were looking for one of those because we can't get them in the States.
Yeah. Well, we can get a Fiat.
We can get different models of Fiat, not this one specifically. Right.
And I'd love to be able to take this back, but we do not. Yeah.
It's not old enough. Yep.
Yeah. So, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. But to jump on to something else, we got this for our 15-year anniversary. It is Slate from Wales, and it has all of the United Kingdom, and it has the Union Jack or the United Kingdom, the flag. And then it has our name, it has the year, and it has 15 down, forever to go. Something that Chris put engraved in our 5-year
anniversary
anniversary gift. I'll put a picture of it. And it's just something that's stuck, you know what I mean? It's just another year down, and forever to go. So we're looking forward to our next year and the next one after that. Yeah. So the person that made it for us, the maker is called Britt Maker. She does custom gifts and homeware. I will leave the link for her business in the description below, and also I will put just to where y'all can make sure that you're going to the right page. I'll leave just a screenshot of her business page up here. So and she was fabulous.
They were really good too. We told them our story, what we needed, and this was just a unique piece that she'd picked up years ago. Didn't really kind of push it aside because it was for a different order that ended up falling through. We told her our plans because we found something in California when we were stationed there. You know what I mean? We wanted something that was from over here specifically. It was hard getting somewhere else. And she said, I got the perfect thing for you. So this is specific, like she said, this was specifically from Wales. And so, it was just a really cool piece. Good people.
Yeah, good people. We absolutely love, showcasing small businesses and supporting small and, and local people. It makes my heart happy to support local and to show our love and appreciation for people. So, I think that's it. You think so? I think so too.
Sounds right.
So, as always, guys, make good choices. Be safe. Bye. I think I said that out of order, but it is what it is. Bye, y'all. Have a good one.